What's up, YouTube? My name is Darian. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. On my channel, I focus on primarily fragrances as well as fashion. So if you're into fragrances, if you're into fashion, I offer you or welcome you or the opportunity to hit the subscribe button and also to click the bell icon as well to ensure you get notified anytime I upload new content on this channel. So guys, on today's video, I wanted to go and dive into a fragrance house. The fragrance brand, I would say, MAISON MARGIELA, the Replica line of fragrances. I wanted to do this because I've been experimenting with fragrances from this brand over the past 2 years, and from everything I put my nose on, whether it's been through sampling the fragrance in a store or, of course, acquiring and purchasing that fragrance, all the fragrances have been really high quality and have delivered on exactly what it is that the fragrance indicates is supposed to deliver on or smell like. Now, if you're not familiar with fragrances from the Replica line of fragrances through MAISON MARGIELA, they all are made to represent a particular setting or something like that. For instance, you have fragrances like Beach Walk. And that fragrance smells just like, of course, you're walking on the beach. So it has this very oceanic kind of feel, gives you those summer vibes, and really kind of transport you to the beach and having a nice stroll on the beach. And that's something that I really love about, again, all the fragrances that I've tried from this line. They all really transport me to that particular setting. So we're going to be talking about the top 5 fragrances from the Replica line of fragrances today. I actually have one honorable mention as well. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. This is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to sharing these with you guys. So if you want to see what made my list of the top 5 fragrances from the Replica line of fragrances, then you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's go ahead and jump right into this list. Now, the first one I have up on this list today is an honorable mention, and this one is called At the Barbers. This one is called At the Barbers. And guys, look, every guy has had that experience at least once in his life, of course, of going to the barbershop, which again is honestly a men's ritual. You know, it's something that we all have experienced, and this captures that whole barbershop experience in a bottle. This fragrance smells absolutely fantastic, and it smells, of course, just as the name indicates, just like a good old trip to the barbershop. If you can imagine, it transports you there. You walk in, you get the smell of soap suds, you get the shaving cream, that whole vibe of shaving cream when you walk into the barbershop. A lot of us, once we get a nice hot shave and the barber then gets that nice warm towel and puts it on your face, that's what this fragrance is, man. This fragrance is a trip to the barbershop, just as the name indicates. And one of the hallmarks of a great barbershop fragrance, of course, is the note of lavender. That's a note that you will find, of course, in any barbershop fragrance. You're going to find a note of lavender, and it's done to perfection in this fragrance. On the description here on the bottle, because you'll see that on all Replica fragrances on the label, it gives a description that says shaving and leathery notes. And again, they did an amazing job capturing the essence, something that all men experience in their life, of going to the barbershop in this bottle. Again, an absolute home run here, but I have 5 more on this list that I like a little bit more than this, so that's why it made the list as an honorable mention. But guys, it's one that I definitely think you need to check out, especially if you love a good barbershop fragrance from the house of MAISON MARGIELA, of course. This one is called At the Barbers. All right, guys, the next fragrance on this list, or coming in at the 5th spot on this list for me, I love this fragrance. I love all fragrances on this list, man. I love Replica fragrances, but this comes in at the 5th spot for me, and this one is called Coffee Break. This one is called Coffee Break. Now, I think this one was released last year, if I'm not mistaken. And man, As the name indicates, guys, this stuff is amazing. Imagine it's cold outside. You're going headed to work in the morning. You stop off at your nearest coffee shop, whether it's Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, wherever it is, and you get that smell of coffee. Now, I've said this before, this smells more like a nice creamy latte. So imagine a nice creamy latte with the right amount of sugar, the right amount of cream. This is what this fragrance really reminds me of. It's very, very milky and creamy. So it's not like just an all-out coffee fragrance like maybe you would experience with Intense Cafe from Montal. That's more of that genuine, more coffee kind of scent, but this is more creamy, more of a latte scent right here. But again, it's warm, it's creamy, it's smooth. Some of the main notes to me are the sandalwood in here that gives it that creaminess. You have a nice lavender, aromatic lavender in this, as well as the coffee. Man, but if you like a nice creamy fragrance, this stuff is mouth-watering when you smell it, man. You need to check out this one from MAISON Margiela. This one, of course, again, is called Coffee Fresh. All right, guys, now coming in at the 4th spot for me of my top 5 fragrances from the Replica line is this one right here, guys. It's Under the Lemon Trees. Under the Lemon Trees, imagine it's bright and sunny outside, it's summertime, and you want to go somewhere and get yourself a nice glass of lemonade and get under a lemon tree. That's exactly what this is. This fragrance is relaxing, and that's the whole vibe that I think they wanted to go for with Under the Lemon Trees. You know, it has a melange of citrus notes in the opening that give off the impression of lemon in this fragrance. Now you have a nice green accord that comes from these of coriander in here. So that, along with the tea, give this very relaxing vibe and give you the impression almost of the leaves of the lemon tree. And then you have, as it dries down, that nice cedar wood, and that's where you get the woody aspect from in this fragrance. Again, amazing fragrance, aptly named, of course, executed to perfection. This is a very relaxing, calming fragrance to wear when it's really hot outside. Again, I'm just very impressed at how they pull off these whole ideas and elements and are able to transport you to these settings. And again, this one does it like no other to perfection. So check it out, man. Again, from the Replica line, this one is called Under the Lemon Trees. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, this one comes in at the 3rd spot. This is the newest release from MAISON Margiela, and this one is called Autumn Vibes. This one is called Autumn Vibes, and this one transports you, of course, to this current season that we're in, autumn. Stuff is good. It's spicy. It's slightly earthy as well. It's woody. It smells like when you're outside, and I have a tree out in the front of my yard, and of course when the autumn time comes around, you get that whole vibe somehow of the whole autumn season when leaves are on the ground. Imagine wet leaves on the ground, right? Sometimes when I go outside in this autumn and there's been a little bit of rain or there's some dew on the ground and it's wet, leaves are wet, there's this certain aroma that comes from the leaves, and it's actually a pleasant smell. Somehow they captured that in this bottle as well. Again, this is absolutely phenomenal, this scent. So the colors of autumn, the colors of fall, reds, your orange, your browns, somehow I'm able to, this makes me evoke thoughts of those colors. The spices in here, the nutmeg in here, the coriander in this fragrance, the maple in this. Listen, absolutely amazing fragrance. Again, imagine being outside in the autumn time. It's cool outside. There's wet leaves on the ground. There's acorns on the ground. This is what they did and captured this in this bottle. It's spicy. This thing is phenomenal. Check it out, man. Check it out. I highly recommend it. This smells just like autumn. I know I'm kind of being redundant by saying that, but they captured autumn in a bottle in this fragrance. So check it out, man. This is called Autumn Vibes. All right, guys. Now coming in at the number 2 spot on this list for me, I go back and forth between 1 and 2 on this list sometimes, but for right now, coming in at the number 2 spot for me is this one right here, and it's called Jazzclub. This is called Jazz Club, and the smell of this scent harkens me back to, although I was not living in this era, but the jazz era, man. Like you think about maybe the 50s, the 60s, walking into a jazz club. This is what I imagine it would smell like. You have tobacco in here, of course, because you have rum in this. There's a vegetable oil that's used in this, and something in this kind of gives me almost like a vibe of coconut to some degree. But this thing smells just like a jazz club, or what I would envision a jazz club smelling like. Your favorite cocktail, your favorite cigar. There's jazz playing, of course, in the background. I think almost like that being in a jazz club in Harlem, maybe in the 50s or 60s. That's just the thoughts that evoke. This fragrance evokes in my mind when I smell it. But it will definitely transport you there. Even if you've never been in a jazz club, this will at least take you there in your mind, man. A phenomenal job again on this fragrance right here from MAISON MARGIELA. Again, this one is called Jazz Club. All right, guys, and you haven't seen it yet, so you probably know what number one is for me on this list. And this one is this one right here. It's called By the Fireplace. By the Fireplace, guys, come on, sing it with me. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. This one takes me exactly to that place, man. It's around the holiday season. It's Christmas time, more specifically. I'm sitting with the family. We have the fireplace going. We may be even roasting some marshmallows, or we may be sitting by the fireplace, of course, as the name indicates. We have our we have our favorite cup of cocoa with some marshmallows in it, maybe, or it may be even sitting outside, campsite by a fireplace, roasting marshmallows. You get a nice chestnut accord in this fragrance. You get the vanilla, you get the Peru balsam that kind of gives it that smokiness. This stuff is just absolutely phenomenal. Again, it's redundant to say it, but as the name indicates, it smells just like you are sitting by a fireplace. And they captured that in this bottle. I love this fragrance this time of year, especially the winter time. This is a go-to for me. And you see how much of this fragrance I've used because I really love this fragrance. Again, this and Jazz Club, sometimes I go back and forth between which one I like more, but this was the first one I purchased because I was so intrigued by it, and it did not let me down. So coming in at the number one spot for me on this list of best or top 5 fragrances from the house of MAISON MARGIELA from this Replica line of fragrances is this one right here, and it's called By the Fireplace. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this list today as I gave you my top 5 fragrances from MAISON MARGIELA's Replica line of fragrances. As always, I appreciate your time and your attention to these videos because, of course, you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you took a few moments to watch this video, and I sincerely appreciate that. And don't forget to take a few moments to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you share these videos out to some other folks that you think could use this information or find it entertaining, because I'm your guy, Darian, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.